Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
What's up? It's your boy, The Ted Smith. Thanks for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast. Want more? Check out the greatest podcast in all the land, The Podcast. Be sure to subscribe and listen to a brand new episode every Tuesday night.
Somebody out there deserves to be recognized. And the Men's Room knows just who it is. So to you, we say, bottoms up, sailor. You're the toast of our shot of the day.
Drink time it is, and as usual, we head to the drink desk and Steve at Thrill Hill to find out who we're toasting.
It's funny. Someone here says, most people don't clean the top of the fridge. I'm 6'5", and I see everyone's fridge top.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It is weird, man, when you take the perspective of a different height. Right? 'Cause my mother could walk in my house and make a comment about something, and I don't realize what she's looking at, and then I squat down a foot, so we're about eye level. I'm like, I never noticed that before.
My bad.
You know what I mean? No idea. All right, today we chose 24-year-old Bree Pritchett of somewhere in England. Maybe. It doesn't matter. Wherever she's from, she recently took a trip to Sedona, Arizona to celebrate being fully vaccinated against corona. So she enjoyed the trip so much that she decided to commemorate the trip by getting the coordinates for Sedona tattooed on her shoulder, which is not unusual.
Like the longitude and latitude?
Longitude and latitude, exactly.
Spot? Okay.
And she had never gotten a tattoo before, but she's very excited. She's younger, 24, so she's like, you know what? It's an easy tattoo to get. It's not gaudy or anything, and it meant a lot to her because Sedona, for whatever happened on that trip, it was good for her. So she handed the coordinates to the tattoo artist, who then dutifully recreated the numbers on her left shoulder. And she was excited about it until she then put the coordinates into Google Earth. Now, you see, when Bree wrote down the coordinates, she accidentally swapped an N for north with an S for south, which now changes entirely the location. So the result, her tattoo no longer represents Sedona, Arizona, but it leads to a random spot 3,000 miles away in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, she'll never visit there.
Well, she just said, to hell with I'm keeping it. Whatever. I messed up. So let's drink. We pour this booze and we drink this booze because we think it's yummy.
Yummy!
So over the tongue and down the throat to party in our tummies. Down the hola bichola!
The Men's Room presents Profile This.
Hey, Steve at Thrill Hill, could you please tell everyone how Profile This is played?
I sure can, Miles. It's a simple game where we share with you a real-life news story, something that happened right here on planet Earth. Earth. And as you listen to the story, based on the stereotypes you believe to be true of people and the decisions that people make, we'll ask you what it is you think makes the story a story. Hello, Lauren. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Liquor and whores.
Liquor and whores. All right, you understand how this here game is played?
Yes, I do, and I'm happy to say it's the first time I've played in 2021, so I'm very excited.
All right, excellent. Welcome to the show. With that in mind, you have your choice of one of three stories. We have the wonderful world of drugs. We have Bite Me. In other words, what did someone find in their food? And finally, interior decorating, where you guess the foreign object that ended up on the inside of someone.
Well, you had me at drugs. Let's stick with what I know.
All right, my man, here is your story. We go to Lufkin, Texas, where police arrested a man who they say broke into a couple's home while he was high. Now, the couple awakened around 6:30 in the morning to find a man identified as Patrick Pegues standing in their bedroom. Well, the husband managed to get his own gun to hold Pegues at gunpoint and then call the police for help. The couple told police that Pegues, who appeared to be high, said that someone was trying to kill him, and then he offered them money to call the police. But what do you know? They called the cops for free. He tried to get up off the floor and come toward the couple's bed. That's when the husband kicked Pegues and hit him with the butt of his pistol to subdue him. The gays then laid on the floor until officers arrived and took him into custody. Officers reported they found marijuana and ecstasy on him when they searched him. They say he was acting erratic. He was yelling, sweating profusely, which is consistent with an entirely different drug. Anyway, he was taken to jail after being medically cleared. He's charged with possession of marijuana, less than 2 ounces, criminal trespass of a habitation, and possession of a controlled substance. Now, the question is, what is the controlled substance that led to him acting erratic, yelling, and sweating profusely? Was it crack, meth, PCP, or bath salts?
I am so glad that PCP was an option because that's all I wanted to answer the whole time while you were saying it. and I'm okay with being wrong, but it's worth saying PCP just in case it's right. So, hands down, final answer, PCP all the way.
Okay.
I like the commitment.
That's like a public service announcement, right?
Ted.
I mean, PCP makes sense because he's sweating and kind of
Yelling
tripping
and
there.
acting erratic, as they said.
And you said he had weed and ecstasy on him.
They found that on him at the time of the arrest. But
What were the other options? PCP,
Crack, meth, or bath salts?
I mean, I'm actually pretty sure it's meth, but I just really want it to be PCP, so I'm going with that.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know. You know what? Screw it. Let's go PCP, man.
Ted's going to go PCP. I'm going bath salts.
Oh, come on. Oh, he heard it as soon as he said it.
We're going to find out what this guy was on. Was it crack, meth, PCP, or bath salts next?
That was a tease.
We return to the men's room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
Category is drugs on profile. This Texas man was arrested after breaking into a couple's home while he was high. Told Calvin to call the police because he was being stalked and somebody wanted to kill him.
They were like, we're going to call the cops for a different reason.
Had some marijuana on him and also some other stuff. Question is, what was the other stuff that caused him to sweat profusely and kind of freak out? Was it crack, meth, PCP, or bath salt?
And you went bath salt.
I did.
He didn't try to eat anyone, so I feel it couldn't have been bath salt. Lauren, who's since hung up, and Mike, he apologized for cussing.
Did he?
Oh, better.
Yeah, sent a text. I'm like, don't worry about it, dude. It happens. Hell with it. He opened with PCP. He ended with PCP. He wants it to be PCP. I think he likes saying PCP. And then, Ted, you agreed.
Yep.
You are correct.
There we go.
So you cussed, but you got your PCP wish.
I do like, too, that he was cursing at me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, he's like, yeah, I'll come up one day. F it. We'll go crazy. All right. It's a little aggressive, but I like it.
Now for all TV news all the time, it's time for TV Time with Ted.
And now, because your pathetic life is confined to countless hours in front of a talking box,
Armageddon.
the Men's Room presents TV Time with Ted.
All right. Your choices today. You got the Jimmys.
Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel.
Bill Maher.
Bill Maher.
Mr. Myers.
Seth Meyers.
Mr. Myers.
Ted Smith.
Is it Ted or is it late night?
Well, Ted, it's right there in the title. All these guys have talented teams of writers who help them come up with their monologues each and every night. It is up to you to determine, is this an actual late-night joke and from whom, or could it be a The Ted Smith original?
This year's Oscars are all about the movies we scroll through and thought, $20? Nope.
The Ted Smith.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, it's Fallon.
This year's Oscars are about celebrating all the movies we scrolled through and thought, $20? Nope.
This will not shock you. I did not watch a movie this weekend.
No Oscar movies? You can do an Oscar weekend?
Well, I mean, Mike came by with the tuxes and everything. It was a little bit of a scramble. I apologize. It started a little late, Mike. That is on me.
I expect preparedness, Ted.
Also, when you tell that joke, some people don't know you're kidding.
Yeah. I'd like to point out, not that I'm the most cultured member of the show, but I did see one of the Oscar-winning movies.
I did, too.
Now, granted, it was the movie Soul, and I only watched it because my kids wanted to see it, but
I saw
what
two
the
of
hell?
them.
You seen two?
I saw Soul, and I saw the movie about the guy who becomes...
Octopus Dude.
The octopus.
Yeah.
People made fun of me.
Oh, yeah. Octopus lover.
Yeah.
It won an award.
Yeah, for being creepy. Someone needs to tell women's magazine editors to stop inventing list of sexy places to touch your boyfriend. Trust me, it's not a list, and it's been popular for about 300,000 years.
Seth Meyers.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, it's Bill Maher.
Someone needs to tell women's magazine editors to stop inventing lists of sexy places to touch your boyfriend. Trust me, it's not a list. And it's been popular for about 300,000 years.
Caitlyn Jenner is throwing her hat into the ring to become the next governor of California, and her main reasons behind it is that she said she is tired of quote-unquote fake politicians.
The Ted Smith.
Yeah, that's me. Nathan's is offering 5-cent hot dogs this summer at Coney Island for the first time in 100 years. Customers were like, actually, we feel better if you charge us more. 5-cent hot dogs? I'd rather have 5-cent LASIK eye surgery.
Seth Meyers.
I'll say Bill Maher.
Jimmy Fallon.
Listen to this. Nathan's is offering 5-cent hot dogs at Coney Island this summer for the first time in 100 years. Customers were like, I'd actually feel better if you charged more. 5-cent hot dogs. I'd rather get 5-cent LASIK eye surgery.
I mean, I know what a 5-cent hot dog looks like. It's called a little smoky.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, you want this? All right, let's see. Big news. People seem very upset that Elon Musk is going to host Saturday Night Live. Not this week, but next week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right. These people know who he is. Yeah. Like,
I
not
mean,
shocking.
well, just
Miley Cyrus will be on there as well.
She's always
Hey,
fun.
Lance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Turn it on next Saturday, Lance.
I don't know. I'd say she's funny, but she gives good performances.
She does.
Well, a lot of the people who host the show, I'm not the biggest fans of as far as their work of art or whatever they're doing.
Well, they do a good job
They do
there.
a good job hosting the show. It doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah.
Chevy
You gotta be
Chase is a
funny.
douchebag, but he was great on SNL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of stuff you can go down that path with. All right, let's see. Obviously, the Oscars have happened last night. Tyler Perry gave a speech that a lot of people liked. Basically, he was just talking about meeting people in the middle instead of just...
Was it one of those Oscar shows that was like 4 hours long? I have to admit I didn't tune in. But was it one of those where it just seemed to
I
be...
don't know. My wife was I had no idea they were on yesterday. I walked in the living room. I flipped to NFL Network. And she just shoots daggers at me. She's like, what are you doing? I said, let's flip the check the camera. And she was not in the living room. She was in the
Do my
kitchen.
draft research.
So I was like, oh, man, I'm just getting some NFL news. But she's like, watching the Oscars. I'm like, are they on? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh.
I do appreciate
all right.
the fact that they air the East Coast feed now here.
Yeah.
So it's not
Just
like
to get it over
It's not
with.
like a spoiler alert.
But here's the thing with the Oscars, all right? And listen, and we were saying this last week because I'm thoroughly convinced. Like, there's people that make movies because they want you to enjoy the movie. There's people that make blockbusters. We understand what they're doing there. And then there's people that make movies for no reason other than to get nominated and or win an Oscar. And those are typically the movies you don't want to see. Anyway, the one thing I said is you can usually tell the kind of movie just based on who they cast, because they're not going for the most beautiful people in Hollywood. They're going specifically for the actors. The person I pointed out, I said, look, you want your movie nominated for an Oscar, you hire Frances McDormand.
Not Vin Diesel.
Who wins Best Actress?
Right. But
Frances
Vin Diesel,
McDormand. But
you know,
the fact that once she was, I'm like, it's too predictable. Like, I understand she's a very good actress, not taking anything away from her. But it's like, right, you got hired for this movie because they plan to win an Oscar. There's nothing more to it than that.
And her husband. Same boat.
Right.
Who's her husband?
Oh, that one guy. I can't remember. But when you know him, you'll be like, oh, yeah, that one guy. That's all he does.
That guy.
Best Picture was Nomadland. That got some howling. Best Animated Feature Film was Soul, like he said. Kind of cool for Best Director. Chloe Zhao won. She was the first, I want to say Chinese.
Chinese descent, sure.
So that was kind of a cool one. Best Actor was Anthony Hopkins.
Apparently, he was asleep. Mm-hmm. He wasn't physically present. So they
he was in Scotland.
But apparently, he was like dead asleep when they made the announcement.
What I like, too, like he name-checked Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, like on social media, were real upset that they felt like Chadwick got snubbed. And then I want to say, just like today, his family came out and were like, it's the Oscars.
Chill out. It's not about Chadwick Boseman. He died. He didn't win. He was in the memoriam. But they were mad they didn't have his picture up there longer. You know, so memoriam, you get, 2-3 seconds of screen time before they fade to the next actor. So he was up there for the same length as everyone else.
Yeah, there was also a lot of people that passed off this year, too.
But, dude, it was a sad.
Deep list. Yeah, we were like, God,
but I was just saying, but like people were pissed, like, oh, I can't believe Anthony Hopkins won it, not him. And it's like, wait, his family doesn't care. Like
you can't just win things because you died. I know that's what people do.
Right. I was going to say, like Heath Ledger, right? He played the Joker. He passed on the game. So honestly, I thought for sure the Oscars were just going to give it to Chadwick,
right?
But they didn't.
No, I agree. I mean, it's like, look, man, I'm sure he did a great job, but you can't just give somebody an award because they died and you like them.
Miles, you are correct. The best documentary feature, My Octopus Teacher.
No, you explained this to me because my parents were over last night. So my mom was like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I think Miles watched this, man. I don't know if the guy was like having sex with the octopus.
No, he was just going out there to see it.
Well, she's like giving me a lot. I said, look, I don't know. I just know he watched it. He was fascinated, but I'm not entirely sure what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first time you brought it up to us, I feel like it sounded like he was doing something on tour.
No.
It sounded very...
No. I mean, why would you care if something had 8 hands and arms that could
with suckers
gently hold you and
hold you, right?
Gently
do everything
caress you
with 8 succulent, sucky arms.
You brought it up earlier, but yeah, the immemorial segment was really sad this year. I mean, you talked
not like most years where it is a knee slapper funny.
There's just some massive names this year, right? Chadwick. I mean,
right? There's Chadwick.
I almost said it again. Like, man, Black Panther died. Sean Connery, Wilford Brimley, Brian Dennehy,
who was in everything.
Brian Dennehy was in a lot of stuff.
His IMDb is like, 18 pages.
I mean, I think he probably peaked with Tommy Boy, being Big Tom Callahan.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the movie he would have brought up.
He was just one of those guys who showed up in every popular TV show during the 60s and 70s. Like, if that was the show, he made a cameo. It was like...
Plus, like, until I saw him in Family Guy, until I saw him in Tommy Boy... Like, as a kid growing up in the 80s, like, he terrified me.
Oh, he was always a tough guy, man.
Right, because a lot of his TV... I feel like a lot of his characters on TV shows were, like, a badass.
He was the owner of the
people
plant,
up a lot and shot and killed people a lot.
Wasn't he, like, Farley's dad in that or something? Like, he owned the plant?
He's Big Tom Callahan.
Okay, yeah.
We just went through that.
Well, I didn't know the name of the character.
Come on, Ted just cleared that up.
I know. Yeah, he owns Callahan Auto Parts.
Okay.
He's got that new brake line coming out. Jeez, man. It's almost
been a while since I've seen Tommy Boy. About the same time I was watching Pauly Shore movies. I have to admit, and Ernest Goes to Wherever. I haven't checked in a while.
Well, I just watched Tommy Boy less than a month ago.
Cool. If it's on, I'll watch it. Black Sheep. I just haven't seen it.
I don't know why I'm like salty with you that you haven't watched Tommy Boy recently. What are you doing, Miles?
Come on.
Let's see. Cicely Tyson.
Yep.
Cloris Leachman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, Mike Sad again. Like, God, I forgot.
Yeah, Jerry Stiller. I mean, DMX just passed.
Right.
Did you guys see any of DMX's funeral procession?
I did not.
Was that the one with a Humvee kind of thing?
They had like a giant, like a monster truck with his casket in the back.
That's about right for him.
And then, I think they were rolling through Brooklyn. And then they had a bunch of dudes on motorcycles because the Rough Riders, like that's a thing. But I didn't realize how that was a thing everywhere, right?
I think I don't know if they have like official chapters, but almost any major city, you got those cats, right?
Right. But I remember like seeing those videos and it was like
badass.
They're on four.
Front wheel never touches the ground.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Just like they just drive for like days on the back, just doing wheelies. You know what I mean? Like that's talent.
Did you see the movie Creed? Right, follow up to Rocky and all that.
No.
Okay, so they have updated. So Rocky, the big scene, he's running down the street. 200 little kids are now chasing him, and he runs up the stairs and jumps around. So in Creed, it's the same, okay, I have put my training in, I'm getting focused kind of montage. But instead of a bunch of kids running behind him, it's all the Rough Riders. And it's actually pretty cool. Seems all these dudes are pulling wheelies.
It's more realistic.
But it is, but I'm like, you've updated it for the 21st century.
I don't know if you've ever lived in the city before. No, just random kids running around.
And if they are chasing you, they're going to take you down.
Yeah. That's why. Well, and if you ever want to see a movie about it, there's a good one called 12 O'Clock Boys. About the dudes in Baltimore that do it all.
Yeah, if there's a school in the city, chances are it's private or it's the worst public school ever.
That's a good point.
Even with my kids growing up, I was like, where do I put these kids in school?
All right, someone they identified what I believe to be Brian Dennehy's greatest role. I agree with them 100%. He was the sheriff in the original Rambo.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that, man? Yeah. Great. By the way, David Caruso, redheaded cat from CSI Miami, that was Dennehy's deputy through that movie. You don't realize it. So every time that deputy showed up in a scene, he had one injury more than he did in the scene you saw before. That was kind of like the running gag in an otherwise pretty depressing movie. But every time Rambo, quote unquote, fought with law enforcement, that dude always got the worst of it.
Isn't Caruso due for I feel like every 10 to 15 years he ends up on a big TV show or something, and then it's like we got to deal with Caruso again.
But see, he'll come back and end up playing like the role of somebody's wacky father on a sitcom, and you'll hate him.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm thinking of NYPD Blue.
Right.
There's a couple other gangster films he was a part of. He always played. By the way, I don't know what he does in his real life, but I feel like he's almost always kind of borderline dirty cop.
Yeah,
it's like
there's the same cast of characters.
Who's your inspiration?
Andre Brower is one. Who's the guy?
He's always intense. He can't not be intense.
Dirk Benedict always comes back around.
But Andre Brower is funny now on it's a comedy show, right?
Comedy show.
Am I thinking of the right guy?
Richard Belzer?
No, I'm thinking about. Isn't he the lieutenant now on?
Brooklyn 911.
Brooklyn 911.
Andre Brower, yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But he's still, it's a funny show, and he has funny lines, but he's still intense.
Oh, you're right. He is kind of intense on that
right,
show.
it's a funny show, but he's still the most serious guy on that show.
Yeah, that is solid.
I like that dude a lot, though, man.
Yeah, I know. What if you hung out in real life and he's just the most laid back, chill dude ever?
Sup, bro?
Hit this blunt.
Yeah, exactly. You want me to take it serious? All right, man, but I'm not. All right, let's see. If you want to watch something tonight, over on ABC, there's a 2-hour special called Sesame Street. 50 years on the streets. No, it's called 50 Years of Sunny Days.
Jesus. I like the other one better. Thank you, Ted. We appreciate it. You are listening to The Men's Room.
Men's Room returns with Miles and Thrill. Now, let's see what's happening in the real world.
All right, here we go. 2 intruders break into a Denny's not once, but twice in one night. And they make eggs. Florida man booked after traffic stop finds meth, cocaine, and fentanyl hidden in his prosthetic legs. 900 Canadian residents ironically lose ability to surf porn because of a beaver. 2 D.C. police cars totaled after officers caught a case of the drag racing fever. And hundreds gather in a field in Nebraska to battle over the name Josh. So half of Baltimore was there. It is time for headlines.
Now, it's time to hit the headlines. Here's my cop.
Our top story. We go to Washington, D.C., where a strongly worded email was sent out to the local police department. And this email reads, quote, yesterday, 2 6D Scout cars were totaled because officers decided, instead of fighting crime, patrolling their beats, or engaging the community, they decided to drag race each other on Anacostia Avenue.
Anacostia.
Yeah, sorry.
Can't blame them. If I had a police cruiser at my disposal, I'd do the same thing. Difference? I'm not a cop.
That email from the 6D commander, which I've got to assume is the 6th district commander.
That's right, because it was in...
No, it's the one guy who has 6 penises.
Right.
It was technically in D.C., right?
Yeah. Street racing. So do you guys know where that street is where they were racing then?
I know where Anacostia is.
Right.
Gotcha. All right.
Generally considered one of the toughest parts in all of the city.
No kidding.
Oh yeah.
So they were flexing.
I guess.
If you were going to do it in any neighborhood in D.C., they did it in the right one.
Okay.
Right. Across the bridge right there is Oxon Hill, which is probably one of the tougher parts of PG County.
All right.
That's where my aunt lives.
Yeah. Oxon Hill is much better now. But I mean, even my parents talk about when they were kids, Southeast was just, that's where tough people are from.
Mm-hmm.
So tough that they totaled 2 cars. Another
That's
news.
just the cops.
That's right. In other news, we go to Florida where a man was busted for smuggling drugs. He was a passenger in a car that was pulled over for a routine traffic stop, but was busted after he was found to be sitting on a glass pipe that had cocaine residue on it. He was arrested and asked if he had any other drugs on his person as they were bringing him in, which he denied. Unfortunately for him, they found a gram of fentanyl and a stash of Xanax pills hidden in his prosthetic leg.
He looks like he's packing.
He really does.
He does.
It's a little disturbing. Up in BC, Canada, 900 customers of the local communications company lost internet, cell phone, and cable service for nearly 12 hours for a, quote, uniquely Canadian turn of events. Turns out a beaver had dug underground and chewed through one of their cables.
These damn beavers.
Damn beavers. They talked about the lengths that this beaver would have to go through in order to get that cable. It would have had to dig so far underground, actually into the dirt, which I didn't know that they do. I thought that they just chopped down trees and then packed them over water. I didn't know that they actually dug into the ground.
I did not know this either, and it's these particular cables for this company anyway, about 4.5 feet underground.
Right.
And like, generally speaking, we figured that was a safe distance.
Good enough.
Now for but once the beavers figured out the stuff was there, apparently they're tearing up like a casing to the wiring,
right,
and then putting that into their little beaver homes.
Right. They're reinforcing it. Right. They're getting stronger.
And they have great Wi-Fi.
That they do. Fun fact, they are, I believe, the number 2 animal that negatively affects their ecosystem.
Who's number 1?
We are.
Of course, right.
2 men in Indiana are being sought by police for a crime that sent our own Miles Montgomery into a fit of rage. Surveillance caught the 2 of them breaking into the local Denny's at 2 a.m., walking back to the kitchen, and making themselves eggs. But an hour later, they came back to the same Denny's and made themselves another round before once again leaving with nothing more than the stolen eggs.
Make bacon! Make toast!
Well, maybe they're not confident in their bacon making abilities.
Oh, come
bacon
on,
making.
Bacon making. You can break into a Denny's. You better know how to make bacon.
I feel like eggs are just simple enough. Just put them there on the grill and just let them fry up.
Maybe the guy's worried about his cholesterol.
Right.
That's a good point.
They can't have too much bacon. It's bad for them.
That's right.
Just have eggs.
Just getting that good protein in there. And like Miles said, they only stole like $1 worth of merchandise from there, so we're good to go.
In both trips.
Right.
That's 2 trips back. They went there and they made eggs, then they left.
Right.
Apparently the door was just propped open, but the restaurant was in fact closed.
Okay.
So then they were like, hell with it. Nobody's there. Let's go make more eggs. Then the opening shift started coming in, and that's when they got caught. Like at 4:30, 5 o'clock, the prep guy for the breakfast.
Hey, man, who are you? I'm just a dude making eggs.
They open up at like 5 or something.
Midnight egg guy.
Oh, me? Yeah, I work the midnight to 2 shift making the eggs.
That's right. Make sure you have your eggs ready to go.
Yeah.
Y'all remember that Storm Area 51 event that was supposed to go down a couple years ago?
Yeah.
That similar situation has actually come to fruition. During the boredom of 2020, a young man by the name of Josh Swain from Tucson, Arizona, sent a group message to other Joshes he was able to find on Facebook, challenging them all to a duel for ownership of the name, giving them all a year to prepare. The message went viral and became a full-blown event. It started with a rock, paper, scissors competition between this Josh Swain and another Josh Swain that he found, and descended into a pool noodle duel, with the winner being a young 4-year-old Josh, who was given a Burger King crown to symbolize his ownership of the name.
I mean, I think Josh is the right name for that.
Right? There's just enough, but it's not too many.
Yeah.
DeBrickashaw Ferguson tried that. No one showed up.
That's right. Nobody. He couldn't find another one.
In a shadow box there.
And that is it for your headlines. With that, Mike Hawk is out.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We'll see you next time as Ryan Castle joins us once again. We will sit and spin. The lovely Taryn Daly's up next.
Yes, indeed. It is all true. But in the meantime, we be all about this bitch. So until next time, please do what you do best. And for Aletha's sake, stay beautiful.
The Men's Room has been taped before a live studio audience. Wardrobe and makeup provided by Mantastic Limited. This has been a presentation of the Men's Room Radio Network. Oh, man! A Double Flush production.